Imagine a deep-sea research team exploring one of the least understood parts of the ocean. Their submarine is moving through complete darkness when the sonar suddenly detects something impossible. Straight lines, massive walls, perfectly shaped towers. At first, the scientists assume it is a geological formation. But as they move closer, powerful lights reveal an enormous city resting on the ocean floor. There are roads, bridges, domes, gates, and buildings stretching farther than the cameras can see. And some of them are still glowing. The discovery would immediately become the greatest archaeological event in human history. Governments would send submarines, scientists, military ships, and underwater drones. Every country would want to know who built the city, how old it was, and whether anything inside was still alive. The first samples could reveal materials unlike anything humans had created. The structures might survive enormous pressure without damage. Energy could still flow through parts of the city, even after thousands of years. That would raise an even more disturbing possibility. The city may not be abandoned. Sensors might detect movement inside sealed buildings. Strange signals could appear on military equipment. Underwater cameras might capture shadows moving between the towers. The public would demand answers, but governments might hide the most important discoveries. If the city contained advanced technology, it could change energy, transportation, medicine, and warfare forever. No nation would want its rivals to reach it first. The ocean floor would quickly become a political battlefield. Research ships would be surrounded by warships. Countries would argue over ownership. Some would claim the city belonged to the nearest coastline. Others would say it was part of human history and should belong to everyone. Then one submarine might receive a signal from inside the city. Not random noise, a deliberate pattern. Something beneath the ocean would be trying to communicate. And humanity would realize that it had not discovered ruins. It had discovered a civilization that may have been watching the surface world for a very long time. Within hours, the signal would be confirmed as artificial. It would repeat in a precise pattern, almost like a mathematical language. Scientists would compare frequencies, symbols, and timing, searching for a way to respond without appearing hostile. Eventually, humanity would send a simple reply, a sequence of numbers, a map of our solar system, a message that meant, "We are listening." Then the city would answer. Lights across the ocean floor would begin turning on one by one. Ancient towers would glow, enormous gates would open, and objects would rise silently from the streets below. The world would watch through live underwater cameras as the first inhabitants appeared. They might be humanoid, but clearly adapted to the deep ocean. Their bodies could survive crushing pressure, their eyes might detect almost no light, and they could communicate through sound, movement, or biological signals. The first meeting would not happen on land. Human representatives would enter a sealed underwater chamber, protected by military submarines and recording equipment. Every gesture would be studied. Every movement could be misunderstood. But the greatest shock might come from the city's history. The underwater civilization could reveal that it had existed long before the first human cities. It may have survived ancient climate disasters by moving deeper into the ocean, building a society completely hidden from the surface. They might know events that human history had forgotten. Lost coastlines, destroyed civilizations, ancient wars. They could even claim that some human myths were based on brief encounters with their people. At first, this knowledge would excite the world, but the relationship would quickly become tense. Humans would want access to their technology. Governments would ask about their energy systems, medicine, materials, and weapons. Corporations would search for ways to profit from the discovery. The underwater civilization might refuse. To them, humanity could appear violent, divided, and dangerously ambitious. They might have watched wars, pollution, and ocean destruction for centuries. And now the species damaging their world was asking to be trusted. The first contact would not begin with friendship. It would begin with suspicion on both sides. Months after first contact, cooperation would begin, but so would competition. Scientists might be allowed to study parts of the underwater city. They could discover energy systems that worked without fossil fuels, materials stronger than steel, and medical technology capable of repairing damaged organs. These discoveries could transform the surface world. But the underwater civilization would not share everything. Their leaders might believe humanity was too dangerous to control such technology. They had watched us fight wars, destroy ecosystems, and fill the oceans with plastic and chemicals. To them, the surface nations might not look advanced. They might look unstable. Governments would become impatient. Intelligence agencies could secretly send drones into restricted areas. Corporations might attempt to steal samples, while military leaders searched for hidden weapons. Then one mission could go wrong. An unauthorized submarine might cross into a protected zone and disappear. The surface government would accuse the underwater civilization of attacking it. The city would respond that the submarine had ignored repeated warnings. News channels would spread fear. Some people would demand peace. Others would call the ocean civilization a threat. Conspiracy theories would claim that the beings had controlled humanity for centuries or were preparing to invade the surface. The underwater people would face their own divisions. Some might want peaceful contact and trade. Others could argue that humans had already damaged the oceans too severely and should never be trusted. Tensions would rise when the civilization revealed its greatest demand: humanity must reduce ocean pollution, limit deep-sea mining, and protect large parts of the sea. Surface nations would resist. Entire industries depended on shipping, fishing, energy, and underwater resources. The conflict would no longer be about curiosity. It would be about territory and survival. If negotiations failed, the underwater civilization could block shipping routes, disable submarines, or destroy offshore facilities without ever attacking cities on land. Humanity might respond with military force. But fighting an enemy that controlled the deep ocean would be almost impossible. And for the first time, humans would realize that most of Earth had never truly belonged to us. Eventually, humanity and the underwater civilization would be forced to choose between war and cooperation. A direct conflict could destroy both worlds. Humans controlled the land and sky, but the ocean civilization controlled the deepest and largest part of the planet. Peace would require new borders, protected ocean zones, and strict limits on pollution, fishing, and deep-sea mining. In return, the underwater society might share selected medical and energy technologies. Not every secret would be given to us. Trust would develop slowly. Some humans might move into protected underwater stations, while ocean representatives visited the surface inside specially designed environments. A new generation could grow up seeing them not as monsters, but as another intelligent civilization. The discovery would permanently change human identity. For centuries, we believed we were the only advanced species on Earth. Now we would know that another society had existed beneath us, hidden in a world we barely understood. So, what if we discovered a city beneath the ocean? It could offer humanity knowledge beyond imagination. But it would also force us to face a difficult truth. We never owned the whole planet. We only ruled the parts we could reach.